Hey, today I am talking about habits. And habits are one of those things that we just do, right? I'm not asking you to judge your habit. I'm saying I'm just giving you the definition right now. Habits is just something that you do regularly, repeatedly, and most of the time you do them without thinking. Think about coffee, right? How do I drink my coffee? Do I put my cream in before the sugar? Do I put my sugar before the cream? Brushing my teeth, put the water on the toothbrush, or do I put the toothpaste on before I put the water on before I put on toothpaste, or the toothpaste before the water? Do I start right? Do I start left? Do I start front? Do I start bottom? What do I do? How do I start? That's a habit, right? So that's where I really want you to start focusing on getting to a point where habits they're just things you do. Like they're just activities that take place. Okay. So that's what I want to today. I want to break down 10 things that are blocking you from those habits. And right now in the new world order, many of us are reevaluating a lot of the habits. I, as a group fitness instructor, I always had the habit of washing my hands after every single class I took. Now, how many group fitness people, how many personal trainers are going to be doing the same thing, right? Because it's just now become part of our vernacular. Are we going to continue to wash down our groceries forever? Is that going to be a new habit, right? To just start to think about some of the things that we start to do, that we start to take, that we will just, it'll feel weird for the beginning, but then it'll eventually become something that we do. So I wanted to start with, I'm going to give you 10 things, and I want you to think about it like this. Whenever I give you a list of things to do, it's not like write them down, girlfriend, and do them step by step. No. Let it wash over you. Maybe listen to this episode a couple more times. And what feels good right now? What feels realistic what feels realistic right now? Okay. What would you be excited about starting right now? And, is it sustainable, right? Those are like the three things that I always want you to go through your mind when you're like about to do anything. And this is across anything in your life. It's not just about health or fitness. That's my jam, but it's more about life. Okay. So let's just get started and break it down for you. Multitasking. I am guilty, raising my hand high, shaking it about. If I had pom-poms, I would have them. I'm the queen of multitasking. But when it comes to my health and my fitness, I had to prioritize because I had too many things I was trying to do and I wasn't getting anywhere. And if you feel me, I know you're shaking your head. So I want you to, for this one, when it comes to your health and to your fitness, I want you to say, what's my priority? Okay. Because some of you are crushing it at the gym, but on your food, not so much. Or, say, on relationships, some of you are crushing it with your kids, but with your partner, not so much, right? So really want you to start thinking about, instead of trying to like smatter it around everywhere, go all in on one thing, especially when it comes to your health and fitness. When I was trying to clear up my hormones, I had to focus on one thing at a time because it was a domino, right? So I had to focus on cleaning up my gut because I wasn't digesting all of my food. And no matter how great my food was, if I wasn't digesting it, it didn't matter. It wasn't making it to all the rest of my body. So I had to go all in on that. So I really want you to think about, what are you multitasking about? What aren't you doing well with that multitasking? And what can you focus in on till you nail it? And then you can move on to something else. Procrastination. Again, raising my hand up here. I am the queen of procrastination. If you give me a deadline and you give me 6 weeks to do the deadline, I'm going to start thinking about it 4 weeks out. And then I'm going to start to sprint to the finish line. Here's my challenge. With health and fitness, sprinting to the finish line is not going to win. You're not going to win. You're always going to feel like the crap just got beat out of you. Like you went, I just watched Rocky 3. So you're going to feel like Rocky did when he first went up against Mr. T. Yeah, that felt like crap. So I don't want you to feel like crap. And I want you to be successful. So instead of trying to take on the world, start with the small actions, because when I take small actions, I get will win. And when I feel like a winner, guess what? I want to go 20 rounds with Mr. T. And I want you to go 20 rounds with Mr. T. So instead, we also procrastinate, especially when it comes to health and fitness. Do I have the right meal plan? Do I have the right nutrition? Do I have the right meal plan? Do I have the right workout? Am I at the right gym? Do I have the right trainer? Do I have the right coach? Blah, 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 blah. Right? Don't. You know enough. Right now, you know enough to get started. So pick one thing and crush it. Crush, crush, crush. All right. This one seems a little out there, but I know, again, most of these I'm guilty of. So I'm just going to raise my hand for all of them moving forward. Email. One of the things I've had to train myself with is email. I stink at email. I need to stop telling myself I stink at email. I choose not to be good at email. That's what I choose, not to be good at email. So what I do is I used to be the person who first thing I got up, grabbed my phone and looked through email. And inevitably, there would always be an email that, one, pissed me off, two, made me hop into action earlier than I wanted to hop into action, and three, pretty much derailed my day. Okay. So instead of doing that, I have literally on my phone, I've blocked email and all of that till 7 a.m. so that I now get out of bed and the only buttons that I can push are my podcast and the weather, because I want to know, can I get up and go for a walk? Is it, below my hard deck? And, the podcast I listen to when I work out. So those are the only two things that I can click on when I wake up in the morning. And that I've had to train myself. So I want you to think about your relationship with email, right? Does email, do the same things that it did for me? Now I check email 3 times a day. It's, I get through my morning routine. So usually I don't check email till probably like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. And then I check email roughly lunchtime-ish. And then I check email at the end of the day. So that I close out the day. But that's it. And if it's a slow day, I probably don't check it in the middle of the day. I will wait till the end of the day to check my email. So will that work for you? Again, I'm trying to get you thinking of how do I start to break some of the habits that might be keeping me from living my best life? Nutrition. Now this is, I work with, the bulk of the clients I work with is around nutrition and mindset. And many of my clients come to me, they're great at working out. Nutrition, not so much. So here's where I challenge all of you, is that a workout is only as good as the workout, as you're doing it in the moment. Nutrition is going to last you way longer. Jack LaLanne, the father of modern day fitness, says nutrition is queen and fitness is king. And we all know when the queen ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So that's your body, right? And in these current times, what we're seeing the coronavirus do is really go after the people who have a chink in their health chain. So the healthier we are, the more resistant we are to this virus and any virus, moving forward. Okay. So really want you to think about, how can I work best to improve my nutrition? And improving your nutrition, for many people, I always say, it's not about what I have to remove, right? So many of you, the first thing you want to do is, these are 2 questions I get when I first start working with someone. 1, what do I have to give up? Can I have coffee? And how many treat meals can I have? You already have told yourself that this is going to be deprivation alley, where I like to flip it around and I'd like to say, okay, and so instead of saying, let's take away stuff, I'm saying, let's add stuff. And I'm adding things that over the course of my 15 years, I normally don't see people have consistently in their nutrition. And consistently, I don't see in their nutrition adequate protein, fruits and vegetables. Okay, so let's just roll back. adequate protein. So for my ladies, if you're over 40, we are fighting an uphill battle losing muscle mass. It's biological. Ain't nobody can overcome it. We lose muscle mass as we age. It's just the way it is. Now, for us to, kind of stem the tide and try to meet, Mother Nature, try to keep even with her, we, one, have to strength train, but we'll talk about that later in one of my other numbers. Two, we have to eat adequate protein sources. And so for many of you, you don't eat enough protein. And so protein source, I'm saying anywhere from 20 to 30 grams every single meal. So what does that look like? So that looks like 1 full cup of cottage cheese, right? That's 1 full cup of cottage cheese. And when it comes to yogurt, it's not those little Dixie cups. I'm talking 2 of those Dixie cups, not the flavored stuff. The 2 cups of yogurt have 30 grams of protein. Protein's filling, protein satisfying, protein satiating, all the things you need to make a great meal. It's anywhere from 4 to 6 ounces of chicken. So I'm asking you to eat more than you normally do so that you can help fight that muscle mass loss. Now, when it comes to fruits and vegetables, especially on the fruit, so many people hear the myth of fruit has sugar, sugar makes you fat. Oh, good God. There's so many other factors that are making people gain weight. And let me just tell you, I can't think of one person that's ever said to me, I gained so much weight because I ate all the fruit. Like I want to meet that person because I just want to be like, I need to test you. Like what else, what other things do you have, right? Fruit is not going to make you fat. Okay. Then if you eat too much fruit, you know what happens? You end up pooping more because your stomach can't handle all of the fructose that it's taking in. So your body has a natural ability to tap you out when you eat too much fruit. So when it comes to fruits and vegetables, it's a natural source. Like there's never any natural source of food that I'm ever going to be like, it's off limits. Actually, I'm never going to tell you a food's off limits. It's just going to be a matter of how much you eat. The thing I like about vegetables is that it has natural fiber. Fiber's filling. Fiber also helps you poop. And the more I poop, I'm able to get rid of the toxins that hang out in my body. The more I hang out my toxins in my body, the less likely I am to have inflammation. Inflammation, typically for us lovely ladies, likes to live around our bellies. So instead of doing 5 million abs, I want you to focus on, am I eating fibrous vegetables? Fibrous vegetables, cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, collards, chard, carrots, beets. Those are fibrous vegetables, okay? So I'm off my soapbox about that. But this one I'm going to get back on my soapbox. I'm just stepping off for a second, and then I'm coming back on complaining, okay? One of the things that makes me cuckoo for Cocoa Pops is people who complain. You complain, oh my God, my butt's this, and my abs are this, and this, and this, and this, and you complain about everything, yet I don't see action. And you're more than welcome to complain, but that's a habit. You habitually complain. I have a client who habitually goes on vacation, eats like a drunken sailor, comes back, just like, oh my God, I put on 400 pounds. How did I do this? Because you ate like a drunken sailor on vacation. That's how you did it, Sharon, right? Like she thinks that this like mysterious thing came down, right? And just, came into our hotel room and threw food in her mouth. Now I say this I'm saying this because I don't make fun of my clients. I make fun of this to her regularly. So she's well aware of her behavior. And she complains. And so we've been working together about it. Like, she's like, you're absolutely right, Kim. Like I go on vacation and I give myself carte blanche. I give myself carte blanche to just, go crazy, like a teen on spring break. And so she's like, that's the story that I've told myself, that when I'm at home, everything has to be neat and organized and orderly. And when I go on vacation, I'm on vacation. So I tell you this story because I'm sure plenty of you can identify with her. And BTW, her name's not Sharon. I just made that up. Um, but plenty of us can identify that we do the behavior and then we complain about it. And then we're like, oh, oh, oh. So now what we're working on is, how do we, before we go on vacation, have a preemptive plan? Now, I'm all about the flip-flop life, and I'm never going to be like, you need to restrict when you're on vacation. No, I want you to have a cocktail. I went to New Zealand about 5 years ago. I had a drink every day, but it was part of my overall scheme. It wasn't, me drinking and eating like a Viking. So I want you to really start to think about, what are you complaining about on a regular basis? And is there something about it you can change? Now go back to what I told you in the very beginning. I'm not multitasking. I'm picking something. So for that client who was always going on vacation, going crazy, I said, what's one thing that feels easy for you on vacation? And for her, it was the drinking. And I said, great. The next trip, let's focus on the drinking. And, is it, set the limit? Is it one drink? Is it two drinks? Whatever it is, let's set the limit and see how you feel at that limit. Because, life is not about restriction. No one ever raises their hand like, can I have the most restrictions, please? No one says that. Most people, guess what? We've been indoctrinated into thinking that that is how we hit our goals. We have to suffer. We have to, drag ourselves through glass and, may the bloodiest person win. No, I am all about, especially when it comes to health and fitness, I want you to live your best life. And I want you to live at 80%. I want you to live a B+ life. And that way it gives me wiggle room. It gives me wiggle room to have cake on my birthday, to have drinks when I go on vacation, and not, go 20 rounds with Mr. T in my gosh darn head. All right. So at the time of this recording, we're still under quarantine. Now, quarantine's going to lift, and I'm going to hear this excuse come back. I'm too busy, and then fill in the blank, right? I'm too busy to go to the gym. I'm too busy to meal prep. I'm too busy to eat right. I'm too busy to go to sleep. I'm too busy to not focus on my stress. I'm too busy, fill in the blank. Here's where I want you to say to yourself, what's your current schedule right now? And how do you feel about it, right? Now that we aren't commuting to work, do you have a little bit more time? Are you spending a little bit more time with the workout? Are you spending a little bit more time on your food? Okay. So now let's close our eyes, and we're back to our normal day in and day out grind. What's possible for you to stick with? And really focus on that. What's possible for you to stick with? Because I'm not the person who will tell you that you need a 2-hour workout followed by a full day of meal prep. Like I'm too busy for that. I'm tapping out on that whole scenario. But what I'm saying is, are you doing 30-minute workouts, and can you still figure out a 30-minute workout? Can you, now that, you're kind of forced to cook at home and all those things, can you find yourself, finding shortcuts to be able to cook, and say, maybe bring your lunch a few more times a week to work, or find yourself a way of making, easier, simpler dinners at home. So you're not, coming home after a long day and being like, what the hell are we going to eat tonight? Right. So can we start to think about moving forward? How do I break free of telling myself I'm too busy? This one, I'm going to tell you, there are people who, I remember when I first started my business, there are people who are like, you have to just stop watching TV and just go all in and focus on your business. And for me, TV is how I relax, right? I will watch, probably an hour of TV before I go to bed. It's just one of the things I like to do to just literally just check out. So I'm never going to be that person to say, stop watching TV, because I think that's just stupid. But I will say, how much time are you watching TV? And are you watching TV at the detriment of doing something else? So, or, and at the same time scrolling through social media, right? So I told you, when I wake up in the morning, I had to turn off my social media so that I wasn't, I'd be getting dressed to go to the gym, and I would be sitting while I'm getting dressed to go to the gym, scrolling through Instagram. Really? Is that going to change my workout? Like, no, or I would find myself in bed before I went to bed, and I would be in the endless scroll. And I'm like, it's 11 o'clock at night, and I'm scrolling through, and I found like 4 outfits that I wanted to buy and about 50 memes that made me laugh, right? So I want you to really start to like be judicious with your time and say, how much time are you spending? Granted, during the Corona shut-in, if you were spending more time watching TV and on social media, 2 snaps up in TikTok, because we were just trapped in our homes. But now, after, post-Corona, are you still stuck in that scroll TV hours on end habit? I have another client. She's, runs her own big company, several employees, several locations. So she is someone who's definitely always on the go. But one of the things we've worked on is for her to not say, I'm always on the go, and use that as a crutch to not take care of her health. Because when she first came to me, she was tired as a mother, as the kids say. And one of the things I said to her that for you too might seem very counterintuitive, I said, you need to slow down in order to speed up. And she was like, what on the God's green earth does that mean? And so back to the multitasking, running around to her multiple locations, and, putting out multiple fires, and every day life was a crisis. She always is putting herself on the back burner, right? And it's really easy to do that. It's so easy. As women, we're taught, or we feel like everyone else's problems are higher than our problems, especially if I'm the boss, right? I should be putting in the same amount of hours as someone else. And I should be, right on the front lines with my employees. And I'm not saying that you as a boss shouldn't understand your business, but you as a boss, if you feel that, if the ship goes down and you're the ship, you got to take care of the ship. You got to find your leaks. You got to plug in your own personal holes. And so I challenged her to really focus on her self-care. And so that the Always on the Go was a program she wrote herself that said, if I'm always on the go, my business is on fire, my business is afloat. Yet she always, she started working with me because she's like, I have no energy. I used to run all the time. I used to, be 10 pounds lighter. And I was like, let's really look at your life. And when we looked at her life, the business always came first. Let's go back. She looked at her email, and there was always something in her email that, she thought, oh, it's going to take me 5 minutes and then I'll go to the gym, or take me 5 minutes and then I'll cook dinner. And it never happened. It was always, once, the email snowball started, and once it started, she never got there. So I really want you to think about, how do you prioritize your time? In my reps formula, one of the quintessential pieces of it is preemptive planning. We always have to have a preemptive plan, because life is always going to get in the way. And so how do we find our, as I call them, our non-negotiables, so that we always feel like, you've taken at least a little care of yourself before you go on with the rest of your day. And then this one right here, I'm a goal setting fool. My goals are is my compass, right? My goals are what, get me out of bed at 5:30 on a cold, snowy Boston day. My goals are what help me drive my business. My goals are what help me to guide my clients, to give them accountability, support. So many of you, you'll say, oh my gosh, it would be so great if I lost the 10 pounds. Oh, it would be so great if I could do a pull-up. It'd be so great if I could, plan this amazing vacation. And that's it. It just lands right there. And it's like over and over and over again. I had a friend for years, and years and years, she always said to me, oh, if I could only do a fitness competition, it would just be so amazing if I could only do a fitness competition. And she's never done one. This is probably going on 15 years. And every time she sees me, she's like, oh, Kim, she's like, it's not too late. I'm going to do that fitness competition. I'm going to do it. And, in my head, I was like, you know what? You just like saying it. So do you like saying your goals, or do you want to achieve your goals? And if you want to achieve your goals, the best way I can tell you is, one, you have to tell someone and you have to ask them to support you with it. Have to ask you to hold you to be accountable to it. The second thing, write it down, right? On my, in my office, I have my goals written on Post-it notes, and all over my office, I like say, this is what my goal is for the month. And so it keeps me focused. So I'm not doing crazy things that don't add up to my goals. It's like, this is the focus of my goal. So I want you to really think about yourself. Do you have goals that you just like say, one day I'm going to do this, someday I'm going to do this, or are you really wanting to like land the plane, right? And hit your goals, hit the ground running. And the last thing and this is perfect way to end this conversation. Stop giving up. Stop giving up. It's, I'm guilty of this as well. If it's not happening fast enough, right? If I didn't lose 10 pounds by Friday, this isn't working. I have to move on to something else. And there's a meme that has been running around social media for years. And it's a guy in a mine, a tunnel. And he's like picking away with pickaxe. And you see him in the pickaxe. You see him picking away at the pickaxe. And then he like, turns around, he's like, I give up. And then on the other side, he's about this far, like inches away from the breakthrough. And that's where I feel so many of you are. You're inches away from the breakthrough, yet you don't crush through. You just like, I got to find something else. And I really want you to, it's a mindset game, right? It's a mindset game. And so if I scale back my goals, and so that I make them so that I'm focusing on one thing at a time, so I give myself these mini wins, then I feel more motivated to go on. If I, instead of going for the A++, if I went for the B+, I would feel more of a winner and I would keep going. So the mindset shift that I would love for you to make and want to close out this episode with is that instead of saying, I want this, say, I'm creating this, because you're creating your reality. You're creating your life, right? So I created this podcast. I created it. It didn't exist. These were my thoughts, and I wanted a podcast forever. And guess what? For 5 years, I said, yeah, I'm going to have a podcast. I'm going to have a podcast. I'm going to have a podcast. And guess what? I did diddly squat, zero goose egg. And then one day I said, you know what? I'm going to create, right? I don't know who helped me shift my mindset on this. So whoever did that, 2 snaps up and a tic tac. So I want to share it with the world, scream it from the mountaintops. I'm creating this. I created Fit Girl Magic. I created it because with Fit Girl Magic, I know that once you have great habits, you'll have amazing routines. Once you have amazing routines, you have unstoppable consistency. And guess what? Once you are consistent, boom, results, right? So it's literally that linear when it comes to results. And I know everyone listening to this podcast right now is like, girl, I need me some results. Well, first it starts with getting some gosh darn good habits. Then we can start building those great routines. So what I have for you is that if you are looking to build some great routines, I have 50 routines that'll help you jumpstart your brainstorming. All you got to do is go to the link in my bio and in the show notes, and you can grab those 50 routines. As always, if there's something that I can help you with, please, please, please reach out to me. You can find me on all the socials, Kim Jefferson Coach on Instagram, Kim Barnes Jefferson Coach on Facebook, or you can find me on my website, kimbarnesjefferson.com. All right, ladies, have an amazing day. Enjoy.